thank you to our premier partner, Pinata. Pinata makes it simple to store and retrieve media on IPFS and build social applications with Farcaster. Visit pinata.cloud for all the power tools for IPFS and Farcaster. GM Farcaster. It is Monday, April 15th, and you are here with Nounish Prof and guest co-host Toady Hawk.
Not Adrienne. Oh, sorry.
Not Adrienne. Also
not
known
Adrienne
as
Hawk.
Not Adrienne. Not
I still
Adrienne
need to
Hawk.
get that .eth. I haven't got that yet.
That ENS would be great. Yes, the Not Adrienne .eth. We definitely
Well, probably
need that.
someone in chat's going to grab it now. Someone in chat's going to grab it now and try to sell it to me at a premium.
And try and sell it back to you. I would not be surprised at all. Adrienne's traveling. She'll be back with us tomorrow. And by the way, in case I forgot, tomorrow we are going to be on at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 Pacific with July. And I'm really excited for that interview because that's going to be a lot of fun. He is just a fascinating guy. But before we get into all that,
why didn't you wait like just a couple more months to have him on?
I know. I thought about it, but we're going to do July. We're going to do July in April instead.
It's like Christmas Christmas in July, but it's
Christmas in July, but it's July and April. I know. It would have been better for the meme, but yet, we'll take them when we can get them because I cannot wait. Yes, to Crypto wants to know where the noggles are. Hold on. They're right here. But I don't wear them for this show, only for when I guest co-host on Zeropod. But there you go. If you want the screenshot really quick, here it is. Noggle up. There we go. By the way, there is not one episode of GM Farcaster that doesn't have noggles. You just have to know where to look. Not a single one. Every single one. Always have the earrings.
Maybe I should get my ear pierced so I can be more.
That way you always have them. So let's move in. We've got a few things to talk about. First off, my background today is casters, and this is snapshot 40. Amazing. And it was curated by Renee Campbell, who's one of my favorite artists. So that is my background today. And go check this out where images are actually showing. So it's very exciting. So go take a look at that because now
I swear this morning I posted something in Nouns and I had to like record my screen on my phone and post a video. I'm like,
post a video.
What kind of jank shit is this?
We're getting janky.
We're
early. Here's why, because we're having some issues. This is from B with image uploads due to an API provider this AM. And it's still, as of the last time I checked, not working.
I really hope they fix it in the next 2 hours because
that would be great.
Interesting drop happening from Yellow. So hopefully
we're going to get to that. I know I'm very excited for that one. Very excited for that one. But yes, very annoying. But you know what? For those who don't know and weren't here super early, once upon a time, there were no images. There was no image sharing on Farcaster when it was called Farcaster and it was on Teflite. So
and we used to have to walk uphill both ways to school.
Both ways. Yep, absolutely. So. Yes. I know. I sounded like my grandmother last night explaining that. I was like,
old man yells at cloud.
Yeah,
old woman yells at cloud today on
GM Farcaster. Back in my day, it was a text-only app. There you go. And definitely no video. That just came recently. Also, there's been some Warpcast. Warpcast had a delay processing messages this AM. Also, this is from Varun. Traffic spike in the middle of the night on the protocol caused messages to get backed up. We're 95% caught up now and working on fixes to make sure this doesn't happen. So
it's okay. It's okay to sleep. You can
sleep.
You can go to sleep. You don't.
It's fine.
You don't have to be on Warpcaster at 2 a.m.
You just don't. Saying. Not that I ever do that all the time. But yeah, you don't have to, really. You can go to sleep. And so we're getting a lot of traffic and it's getting busy. But luckily, all of that, all your notifications are looking better with all that traffic. So we did have a few things happen at the end of last week. So this was from Dan a few days ago. Priorities for quality on Warpcast: 1, notifications feed; 2, channels; 3, cast thread pages. Have a good plan and hopeful.
Threading is really difficult right now.
Very difficult. I would love to be able to thread easily, and then we could get the threadors like Adam Cochran back over on Warpcast where he belongs. but he
They
likes
also
the
need,
thread.
I think, to adjust. They need to adjust the algo, I think, too, when they improve threads. Because one thing, my only gripe with the way the algo works on Warp, if I had one, is that subcasts don't really get any kind of attention. Like,
What do you mean
if
by
you look on,
subcast? You mean like the replies?
yeah, replies to your own
Replies.
cast, any
Yeah.
replies to a cast, really. If you look at anything underneath the original cast, there's pretty much no likes on anything, which means people aren't really seeing it.
them.
So that's one thing that they need, and I think it's because like replies aren't bumped or anything to followers, and something to
They used to
maybe
be.
tweak. Yeah, they used to be.
Yeah,
But
they used to be, and then they changed that, and I think that was just due to, larger volume. But they did
Right.
used to be. So I wonder if
nobody-
they'll tweak that again.
but
with a
nobody
thread.
will write threads, of course, if the
Exactly.
first cast gets read, but nobody can find the rest. So they'll have to tweak
for
that.
sure. For sure. And the first part of this improvement plan here was notifications. So this happened on Friday. New on Warpcast, see notifications from people you care about. Which I thought that was a funny way to put that. The new priority feed shows notifications is a combo of people you follow and people with a power badge. New notifs here are counted in the unread badge red dot. We've also added a bunch of notification-specific filters to make browsing easier. Things that will go away with priority tab, mass like recast spam, especially of older cast, grouped X replies from people you don't follow, all mentions, replies, quotes are shown in the mentions tab, and the single grouped follow notification that bumps is now smaller windows, more improvements here. And I was a little confused on that part. Because my follows for a while, it was broken. So it wasn't even showing. It used to show the individual. It would show you when you clicked on follows, it would show you all the individuals that were in that particular grouping. And then you could go in and see if there were ones you wanted to follow. That was broken for a few days. It's fixed now this morning. So back to that. So Toady, what do you think of the new notification breakdown?
I think it's good. It seems to be pretty streamlined. One thing I like about it is that I was never really a fan of how they took everybody that you don't follow that replied to you and put them all in one, grouped whatever that you had to actually expand. Because I found that I would miss people's replies and stuff often because of that. So it wasn't it was like it felt like a stopgap measure to stop spam, but it didn't feel like a permanent solution. So I like now that basically that's its own tab. So you can kind of like check your priority, which is the people you follow, then check pretty much everybody else in a second tab easily. And then I also like that you can see all new followers, I guess, in the third tab in case there's someone you want to reciprocate or what have you. So
right, exactly. Yeah.
Follow back, sir. Follow back, sir. Tip you, Jen.
Sir. I'm not doing that. Easiest way for me to block you, ban you for a channel that I manage, or mute you forever is to ask me to tip you when I've never met you before.
And this goes for real life as well.
Yes,
this goes for real life as well. If you see Prof at the grocery store, don't ask her to tip you, Degen. She will block you.
I will block you. I will ban you. Remember that
with
we
an
were
actual
talking about that at one person.
Can
you ban people in person? Like, can I want to mute this person who I'm seeing in person? IRL muting. That happened. That happened a couple times. Wish we could do that. I loved this from Colin. What was it? You're in their other. I'm in their priority. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Colin always has the good meme. Actually, I thought that was Cameron, funny. But Colin also has.
No, that one's Colin. Yeah, Colin from Paragraph. Always pretty funny. And then this from Horsefacts. FC actions, those are cast actions, enable better tipping systems, real-time balance allowance updates, reliable timestamps and accounting, no storage costs for 100 token replies, better foundation for concepts like delegation, which I thought was interesting. Existing emergent systems are, hold on one second. Existing emergent systems are very impressive given past constraints, but we can do better working on it. What were you going to say? Sorry, Tony.
No, my bad. I was just going to say, why has nobody created a Degen tipping action yet? Is that weird? Have I missed that? Oh, there is one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, there was one of the first ones. It's called Paperboy. And you can set it up right now, but it does give it as a reply. So what Horsefacts is talking about is something that wouldn't give it as a reply and would be more like Warps, the way Warps tips. So, and that hasn't been created yet, or that hasn't been done yet, but I think it's coming soon.
Well, how will that work from Degen's side? Because I do wonder how, I'm assuming they scrape, I think
Yeah.
they scrape the API using Dune somehow, because whenever they have issues,
do.
it always seems to be Dune query related. So they must use Dune somehow to scrape the API for any mentions of $Degen and figure it out that way. So I do wonder if they're going to have to change the way they do things in order for cast actions to be able to tip Degen without making a comment.
Without doing the reply. Yeah, I think they will. And the other thing I had, and Crypto said, yeah, there are several. Paybot has one as well as MoneyGun, and then the one I've used has been Paperboy. So the thing with Paperboy is you can set it up for either percentage, and some of these are similar, or a fixed amount, and you just click the cast action and it'll do it. But it doesn't have anywhere to put a comment. So that's my only issue, because it does come in as a reply, but it doesn't let me say, and this is why I'm giving this to you. So when you think about the way Warps works with tipping, you can do that. Not on a cast, but you can do it when you're sending like 100 warps. So I think
and it feels less spammy when you give a reason.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I very rarely will tip without a reason or some sort of a comment. It just feels like you're just like spamming the feed otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely want to be able to say why I'm giving you this, without, just throwing it out there, unless I'm in a ruch.
Yeah, if she's tipping you at the grocery store, she wants to stand there for a bit and tell you why.
I want to tell you why I'm giving you this tip. By the way, we don't tip at the grocery store. We're not even allowed. So just letting you know. Okay. And moving on, we've got from Justin Hunter. I just want to mention this. Pinata is hiring full-time staff level engineer. Requirements based in the US or Canada, 5+ year experience writing code for fast moving startups, experience with Node.js and Go. Bonus experience building product for developers. DM at least 9 if you qualify. And
bonus experience hanging from trees and not being afraid of big sticks.
Yes, that also helps as well. Yes, our friends at Pinata would love. Are fantastic to work with. So go check that out if you're interested. Yes, there's not that kind of pinata, Tody. Not that kind of pinata. This is code. But also, before I forget to mention it, the show is presented by Pinata. So, and as is my. So moving on. Yes, and we do move fast on this. So you got to keep up. You got to keep up, Tody. But let me read the cast, because some people are only listening. They're not looking. They're only listening to us. This is from Syndicate. Excited to announce the Deploy on Degen Week schedule that includes sessions by Jacek, Wake, Nick, Ian Doss, Will, Alex, Beta Shop, Ted, Jess, and Josh, and more. Acceptances are starting to go out. Final deadline to apply was last week. So this is starting today. So if you are building on Degen, this is going to be really cool. I'm super excited to see what comes out of this, because exactly some of the things we were just talking about is probably what's going to come out of this. So that would be my guess. But I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Yes, Crypto just said, I'm a listener. He's always listening to us while he's walking the dog. But I'm super excited to see what comes out of Deploy on Degen Week. This is going to be fun. Jacek was telling us about this last Tuesday. If you missed that chat with Jacek, go back and listen to that. I think it was episode 86. So because that was a lot of fun. And anything you want to see from a build on Deploy on Degen Week? Anything that comes to mind besides better tipping cast actions, which is definitely one I'd love to see?
No, nothing in specific, but like you said, I'm just interested to see what people come up with their creativity. So, and I'm happy to see Will Papper on there. We're actually going to be chatting with Will Papper tomorrow for Zero Pod. So I was going to ask you if you wanted to join me. I don't know if you're free, but
what time is that?
We'll take it offline.
Let's take that offline.
Take it offline.
I gotta check my calendar. Yes. My first answer is yes, but let me check my calendar. But yes, that would be a lot of fun, because I would love to hear. This has been really interesting to see him kind of, it's nice to see Noggles in this little image right here. It's kind of cool to see him representing. So yeah, I'd love to hear what to say about what is happening with all of this. Next up, and I'm really curious to get your take on this. This was very interesting. So this is from Martin. WTF is this? Never wrote this cast or interacted with the above cast. Only signer could be get meme caster. Insane breach of trust if a client is dishing out Degen tips without my permission. So it turns out that there was some confusion. This is from hey, sorry about the confusion. By the way, the UI prompts you at sign up to ask. There's a setting in app for you to turn it off. And I personally damned you to inform you, you can turn it off. However, what happened was that I guess he thought it was turned off. Martin thought it was turned off and had deleted the app. So a couple things on this. My first thought is be very careful what you're allowing sign in for. And I know that I have probably not been as careful as I should on that because I get a little too trusting. There was something else similar that happened with the fire token with this, because at times you may be actually authorizing the whatever app this is to post as you on Warpcast. So being very careful about that, and who you're giving that trust to, but also, we're getting to that point where things are getting more sophisticated, and it could be very easy to slide into something where you don't even realize what's going to happen after the fact because you think it's something very simple. So thoughts on this, Tody?
So I just want to understand what happened here. So he signed up for this thing called Memecaster, which I don't know what that is, but
yeah. So I guess what it was that it would allow you to tip out remaining of your degen at the end of the time period, like and when it was about to reset. So that was part of it, and that's what it was doing. So when it's tipping out here, that's exactly what was happening. He had that left for the day. It tipped out to Memecaster Tipbot.
Oh, so it just tipped itself. I feel like that's not great. I feel like that's definitely self-dealing, and it doesn't feel great. So some of us in yellow have started tipping the Based in Yellow account every day with excess tips, and that feels okay because at least it's going to a collective. It's going to be used, for good to support artists. But in this case, it just feels a bit more like self-dealing because we don't know, who is Memecaster. I'm assuming it's just the dev that made the bot. I don't know if it was more, if it was very, I didn't sign up for this, so I don't know if it was very clear from the get-go being like, this is free software. Would you like to allow us to tip ourselves your excess tips if you don't use them every day? That's a different story. I don't know if that was the case.
It sounds like that was the case, but I don't know for sure. But I think the issue was that then Martin had decided not to use the app, had removed it, and then it was still the signing approval continued even though he had done that. So
the best practices there obviously would be if someone deletes the app, it should be
it should be done.
Whatever you approve should
revoke.
It
should revoke. It should revoke that approval. So it is a little, I think it's interesting. There's another one called Tip Cannon that's just starting as well. So there's some of these that are happening. So just be aware. I do think some of them are cool. Like I do think that, what Based in Yellow is doing, but that's more individuals are doing that, right? They're going in at the end of the day and saying, hey, I've got this left. Let me tip this particular account. And where it's going. So just being a little bit careful with that.
Even as I was talking it out, like, for softwares doing open source development, I'm not even opposed to like them having something very upfront like that and saying, hey, this is free software. Would you like to earmark 10% of your degen tips for the next 30 days? And you agree to it. And then that's what happens. Like, why not? Like, let's use this literal imaginary money that we're creating out of thin air. Let's use it to actually facilitate open source development. I'm all for that. But obviously you have to be careful what you're allowing and be very, this is a good lesson for Memecaster to be very careful about how you
being clear.
And how you govern the responsibility that users give you with their accounts. Because Martin's looking at this being like, I didn't fucking do that. So great.
And forgetting and thinking that once he deleted the app, that wasn't even an option. And then, so definitely being careful what you're signing, but also if you're creating something like this, being really clear about what is happening in this sort of process. All right.
Just one more quick note. This app should have said 12,995 degen, and then another line should have been, this is an automatic tip being posted by the Memecaster tip bot, is what really should have happened there.
I absolutely agree. That would have been a better formatting, and then it would have been clear to also anyone looking at it from Martin and not realizing that he didn't, go in and actually do that was part of a thing. Great point. Really good point. A few other things, and I don't know if you've checked this out yet, but Bracket Game did their first golf version this weekend, and this was really fun. So I had a really good time with this. I did not do well, but I learned a lot about how to do better. There's a lot of learning here, but it was really fun. They're going to be doing this with a whole bunch of different. Not that I want to encourage your gambling, blah 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 blah, but it was fun. So again, act responsibly, yada yada yada. NFA.
How do you get exposure to this if you're not a sport? I don't really bet on sports, but I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah. I think it's going to be huge too.
Is there a token? There's no token, I'm assuming.
No, you just use Degen. It uses Degen. So you go to bracket.game or go to bracket channel, and you can learn more about that. And it was.
Are they on the L3
fun.
or no?
Pretty fun. No, right now they're on base. They're on base, I think. Yep. So not on the L3, but it was really interesting. And I think it's a work in progress, but it was a lot of fun. And it was fun to ask my son for his recommendations because he's a golfer. I thought this was really funny too. My DCs with Goose about Bracket Game feature requests. And this was somebody who was doing this in Apple Vision Pro, looking at like all these different screens at the same time, which I thought this was hilarious. I'm like, yep, that would be Goose. If you don't know Goose, he runs the golf channel and is a little obsessed and may or may not be related to one of the co-founders.
That's OP. We got to nerf that. That's not fair.
Yeah, he's got some things. We are getting close to the end of our time, so I'm going to flip through to some important things that I wanted to talk to you about. First off, was this new thing. By the way, I'm going to read this from Toady Hawk. Disclaimer, I have no idea what I'm doing. Dog.gif. Just trying this Farcaster profile trading card thing out. I also have 5 invites. If anyone needs one, just comment below. Go get my card, trade it and earn Degen or GTFO. Join Onrekt to learn more. So I kept seeing this pop up everywhere. I think these cards are really cute. I didn't fully understand what was going on. Here is Uncut, which is the app that is running this. But they also stopped onboarding new people at one point because they got a little overrun. And I think that was part of what was happening with the Farcaster API as well. There were some issues there. Not saying they were the reason, but I mean that they fell into that same issue. Right. And I think that's what was going on. But do you want to just, what do you think of this so far?
I just think it's a fun app. I think it's sort of a take on Friend Tech meets Pokemon, where basically you go on and you create a trading card of your own profile, and then people can buy and sell and trade. Not financial advice. It's just for fun. Hard to gauge how it's going to do because right now, like you said, it's at a standstill because they didn't expect the demand that they got. I think it's neat. Not a big fan of the name. I'm going to keep banging this drum as long as I have to, but I'm getting annoyed. I'm getting frankly annoyed by people launching really cool novel protocols and giving, it seems, not very much time or thought to like what you name a product, which, by the way, does really matter for how people react and interact with your product. And, this one in particular just boggles my mind because Uncut has some very unsavory connotations in North America, pornographic connotations. So I don't know why you would choose this name for a fun app that's supposed to be, for everybody. But it's early, so that's my only. And also
Onrekt. Anything you're talking about wrecked, you got to be careful.
Even to be honest with you, Onrekt would be better. I would be okay with if that was the name Onrekt, because then it's kind of like tongue in cheek. It's like you know what you're getting into. But this one just, I don't know, strikes me as weird. Maybe it's a language barrier thing. I don't know, but people, if you're launching something and you're putting all this work into the code and like the design and everything, like spend a couple dollars, or at least ask a friend of yours who knows something about branding and to spend some time. I'll stop now, but
honestly, ask ChatGPT. It would be more helpful.
Would have come up with a better name than this.
Yeah,
sure. But I think it's a fun app. We'll see what happens. It's hard with bonding curve apps to keep interest high because people get priced out really quick. Like, to give you an example, I signed up yesterday and my card wasn't loading right away. And by the time I got my card to load, I was priced out on my own card. So it's really,
I know. And you sent me yours and I looked at it and I'm like, I'm not paying that much for that. No way.
I'm not paying $700 for Toady.
For you? Absolutely not. But also that's been my issue with things like this. And I jumped into Friend Tech early on just to try it out. And I just recently sold all my things and I'm trying to get off of there. And I put a thing in there and saying, sell my key, because I really want to get off of here.
Sell
and
me,
I don't want to
baby.
leave you. Please sell me. I
Don't
think
tip me.
you're
Don't tip me in public, but sell me, baby.
sell me. But I really think that, it's tricky. It's tricky. There's something uncomfortable for me with this sort of thing. However, I did like trading cards. I think they're cute.
Yeah.
I like the look of them. So I was very torn on this one. If
It's
this
also
didn't have,
Farcaster integrated, which is nice.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
surprised that Friendtech still isn't integrated with Farcaster. It's really weird. Like I went back recently to check it out, and you still can't even connect your
it's
Farcaster
Twitter.
account. You
Yeah,
can't,
it's just Twitter.
and
Yeah,
it's not that hard to connect to Farcaster. Like Brennan did it for Tavern like in 2
yeah,
days, so it can't be that difficult from
it's
a dev
not.
perspective to connect. So I'm
I
really
think they
surprised
just
by
don't
that.
want to. I think they
Maybe,
just don't want to. Yeah, I
which
think it's
is
a
weird.
choice.
Which is weird to
Yeah.
me, but yeah.
So I just kind of, I'm a little hesitant on these things, but this one I'm still kind of open to a little bit. But the bonding curve thing where people are involved, I don't know, it gets very weird. So, but it's
Well,
interesting.
Party App did their rooms
That was another
thing
one.
about
Yeah.
about a month ago, and they went a little bit too aggro, I think, also on the bonding curve, and
Yeah.
people sort of complained about it. Parties since sort of pivoted in smartly, I think, into doing like the pre-sales for meme coins because people were using it for that anyway. So I don't know if they're still actively developing rooms. They probably are, but hopefully they'll, give that some thought and smooth out the bonding curve, and hopefully apps like this one, Uncuts, will do the same.
I'd like to see that. Yeah, because that was another thing I did not dive into. And you had a room. And by the time I'm like, I am not paying this much to chat with somebody that I'm in a DM with every single day. No, not doing.
You know what's funny though? One of those rooms though, we did a Degen HQ room. They had asked me to host a couple rooms for the launch, and I launched a Degen HQ one and a based builders one. And Mia Culpa, haven't been that active in them. I need to go back and check in on them. But one of them I noticed recently in the Degen HQ thing, we talked and we decided to do the most Degen thing possible, which was the Degen double down. We put all of our ETH into Aave on base, borrowed max against it, like 0.75 against it, and then used that to buy Degen, market buy Degen. And it's pretty hilarious because like I think we went from like $1,000 worth of ETH to like $15,000 worth of of Degen. With that
nice
move.
I mean that's really interesting, and to see that kind of collective action is very interesting. So all right,
well, but we didn't plan what we were going to do with it after that. Like I don't know what happens now.
You don't know what happens now.
No, well, that was a good move. Now what?
Cool, though. Now what? Last thing that I want to talk about, and we are running a little over, which I knew was going to happen with you. And I say that with love. I say that with love. This is from Toady Hawk, coming up this week from the Yellow Collective, Based Friends Forever collection by Illustrador ETH, which I'm going to show you in just a moment, coming out today, this morning at 11 a.m. I believe that's launching, I think.
11 a.m. EST, yeah. Hopefully, hopefully images are working on Warpcast.
That would be nice. That would be very helpful. You know what? They do work on Supercast, I believe. I believe that's how people are getting some images through. Maybe. I have to double check. Gen Art Edition buy on Tuesday, 50% to yellow. We don't do. Are we allowed?
I think we can. I think we can reveal now. I believe that this is a collaboration with Highlight platform.
Exciting.
They are going to be announcing a new feature on Tuesday, and they're releasing a generative art piece to celebrate, and 50% of the proceeds of that piece are going to be going to yellow.
Exciting.
So
very exciting.
A Highlight and that for that emoji. Really excited for that.
Love the Highlight team. They're amazing. First ever fine art claim in frame from Corey Van Loo on April 23rd. So go put, might want to throw notice on for yellow anon. So yeah, you guys, you're cooking.
And one more thing I forgot to add on here. On Wednesday, we also have a rounds.wtf launching with Hire. So Hire is sponsoring an art contest basically. And the prompt for that I teased a little bit ago. It's going to be based in yellow equals green. So it's kind of like yellow and green color prompt. So it's going to be fun. Really open prompt for artists, and 25,000 Hire tokens that they've given up, and we've matched that. So it's a pool of 50,000 Hire tokens to be won by artists. That's launching Wednesday as well. So lots happening in yellow this week.
Amazing. And this is the collection from from Illustrador, who I adore. Illustrador, like we go way back. Little sisters. And
She's
I
awesome.
just adore her style. I love everything she does. So I am really looking forward to scooping up a whole bunch of these later today.
I'm kind of annoyed because that's supposed to be a GIF with all 10 of those, and it's still not showing all 10 despite
it's only showing 3.
Zora about it,
but it's really cute. It's
Yeah.
really cute though. So really excited for that. So lots of fun things coming from Yellow. Thank you, Toady Hawk, for sitting in for Adrienne today. And we're running a little over time, but I do want to mention that tomorrow, again, we are going to have July on. We will be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, because he is on the West Coast. So we didn't want to make him wake up at 5:30. And we're super excited. Thank you to the chat. You guys are amazing. And they're saying, thank you, Toady Hawk. They're throwing up the floating.
Chat,
floating
is this
messages.
real? Chat, is this real?
It's real. It's real. And thank you all. And we will see you tomorrow. Back with Adrienne. And thanks so much. And thank you, Toady. And I'm looking forward to seeing everything from Yellow. And that's it. Bye-bye. Bye.
GM.